Hello, how are you today? It's been a long time since I've made a video, hasn't it? There's a lot of reasons for that. Anyway, I wanted to share a book that I just barely finished. It's called Dispatched. And it's from Eric Moutsos. I post a lot of his content and videos or speeches sometimes, or little memes that he does. And so I'd like to share just a little bit about this book. And we bought it a couple months ago, and then the last couple weeks I've been reading it, and today I finished it. And it's been super, super good. In the storyline, it's about his life and all about some of the challenges of his life. And I guess the crux of it is how do you, when your conscience goes against what society is deeming as right, what do you do? And it's really tough sometimes. It's kind of tough, and sometimes you just have to make the decision. In his case, he was a police officer, and eventually he was let go because of this decision. But he, in his own personal conscience, he was asked to work in the gay parade, and he didn't have a problem with doing that. He didn't want to be the one doing this, with the motor, how you do this with the motorcycles at the beginning of the parade to lead it out. He didn't have any problem with being there for safety or security or other things. He just didn't feel comfortable with that. So he did trade with a fellow partner, a fellow police officer, but one of his superiors didn't like that and wanted to force him to do what went against his conscience. And so as a result of that, he was let go from the police department, and they actually lied about it over the news all over the place, that he just said he didn't want to, period. And that was a lie. He just didn't want to be leading it. And so that really begs us to really examine our own individual consciences. What do you do if someone thinks differently than you or behaves differently than you? Do you try to coerce them to think like you? Even if you feel like you have religion on your side, is that your job? To coerce someone to say or to think like you? It's just very, very fascinating, yet we as humans, we fall into that trap a lot of times, don't we? We want to be liked. It's just a human condition. We all want to be liked. We want to be respected. We want to be loved. We want to be seen. And so we're afraid of doing something that might be not considered okay by the crowd, And so for example, I know of someone close to me who was asked to go and get scouting money, because this was the last year they were going to have money for scouting. And so he was supposed to go around to neighbors and ask them. And they did. And then the leadership from the scouting said that it wasn't enough money, so they wanted them to go around again and ask the people again. Is that interesting? So you ask someone one time if they will donate to scouting, and then you get a superior asking you to go around again. What would you do? What would you do? It's really tough, isn't it? Well, some of the people went around again, and one of the women from the area, who was she's living on a fixed income, she got really angry with them. What are you doing coming around again? I already said no. You're not respecting me. So it is hard. We really need to respect individual liberty. And even if you disagree with it, we still need to respect people and their right to choose. Forcing people to behave the way you think they should behave is the adversary's plan. And our egos get involved all the time. All the time. In fact, in this book, there's lots of instances where he would disagree with something like being asked to get so many tickets or so many arrests in one day. He didn't agree with it. And then the officer over him thought that he was being disrespectful. That's not being disrespectful. It's standing up for your conscience. And this is a time in history where more and more and more we're going to be asked to stand up for our conscience, to do what we feel is right. And it may be different. It may be totally different than what legal authorities or church people or whatever think is right. But if it's not right for you, it's not right for you. So it's an exciting time to be alive. And I really like this book. It was an easy read. It was very, very well written. And it's by Moutsos. Thanks so much for listening. We all have the challenge, don't we, to stand up for what we believe and what we think is right, even if other people don't. And also to allow other people their agency. And to not try to tell them to be quiet or stop talking because you don't agree with it. That's wrong. It's not okay. Anyway, thanks so much. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.